Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Seven Figure Journey podcast. I am your host today. My name is Brett Gilliland, and I have another amazing business owner today with us. I can't believe it, actually. I just keep pinching myself every episode. I'm like, how are we finding all these awesome, in the trenches, doing it business owners who have so much to share and so much to offer? But that's the case again today. We have Ashley Kirchner with us. Ashley started several businesses, and we might get into some of that. We're going to talk about her being the founder and CEO of Visionary Vessel, and I'll let her say a little bit more about that. But before I do, let me just say that before I hit record, I'm talking with the business owner. We're sort of talking about how the show might go. And today, everything that came out of Ashley's mouth, I was like, yes, just share that. Yes, just share that. So hopefully I won't hog the mic too much. Ashley, we want to hear from you. Why don't you tell us, welcome, first of all. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I will try to keep it together, but I live and breathe business. Like it's truly like what I love doing. Work 7 days a week is not work to me because I'm a creator and a creative, and it's fun. So
Yeah.
this is exciting.
All right. So all you creators out there who are like, work, what work? I'm doing this all the time. I'm not burning out. I'm energized. This is
I'm 9 years strong, and I'm going harder every day. So I love it. I wouldn't change it.
That's
So
amazing. Well, tell us about Visionary Vessel, what you're trying to do. Give us whatever context you want about you and your business.
Got it. So yeah, Visionary Vessel is just kind of the face of the print production CNC creative companies underneath. We're a big Disney family actually, and there's a show called Imagineering. So, and we love that. If anybody has not watched it, I would totally go see it on Disney Plus. And so that's kind of what I did here is like as the visionary of the companies, because that is something I'm like very good at is seeing the vision and coming up with the branding and the creative. I was like, this is a great place for everybody to go to and see the companies, right? So 8, 9 years ago, I had the opportunity to go to 4-year college or start a company. That was Dad's rule. And so it was, I wanted to start a company. And I'm an artist and a graphic designer at heart, self-taught. I actually won a little entrepreneur competition in my very small community college. And this was the company I created was my first one. So it's called Print Crazy. And we started locally in my tiny hometown, 3,000 people. There was no printing graphic design company. Like there was nothing around. If there was, it was very small, like mom pop in their garage, right? So we're like, let's do this right. We don't want to half-ass it. So we had me, and then we hired 2 other people, and I learned from the other graphic designer, and the other guy was the sales rep, right? And then grew that over the next couple of years to 7 figures, and started with wide format vinyl, all the different kind of printing things that a company may need. So that team eventually started to grow and grow, and I knew like I have very big goals and ambitions. So I was like, I'm not gonna get as large as I want. You know, when you're young, you're like, oh, $1 million sounds cool, and then you're like, you hit it, and you're like, well, that's not $1 million in my pocket.
Right.
So we need to keep going, right? And there's so much out there. So I was like, let's do e-commerce. So we actually got into koozie cups for beer because I'm from the Midwest. So like all the weddings, everybody drinks beer, right? And we were buying and selling them online a lot. And I'll try to keep this short, but I saw this printing press at a show in Vegas. And I sat down in the airport on the way home, and I'm a numbers person. So I made a spreadsheet, and I was like, there's X weddings in the country. If we do X% of this and this and this, I was like, oh, we could do a business out of this. So I buy the machine, and then we start setting up the facility back at home. And our first e-commerce was can coolers. And by year 2, we did like $2 million, I think, just in koozies, you know, which we had a little debacle with that, and our domain actually got taken away because Bic, the lighter company, owned it. Anyway, so that's been some of the maneuvering around, right? And why there's 5, 6 faces to some of the companies is because I like to have my hands on a lot of things, right? So if there's an issue with this one, there's another one that's, you know, profiting. So we found out that Koozie Crazy was mainly weddings. So then I was like, let's start another one called One Step Bride Shop. And then we already let's take things that we're already doing, right, locally, and let's brand it into something else, but to be able to sell across the US. So now we sell can coolers, apparel, wedding invites, signs, koozies, cups, all the things. Because to me, like the beginning of all of this is learning. It's learning how to hire, the right people eventually, and pay them the right wage, and how to put systems in processes, right? So like I built our WMS system, our warehouse management system. I wrote out the thousands of locations in the warehouse, and I used to run every printing press back when I was in Southern Illinois. I'm in Austin, Texas now. And you start with something, you learn how to do it, and then how to monopolize on it. So then it's like, okay, now we have this, now how can we do more off of that? um, so that's kind of big picture. And then one other part of it now is our CNC business. We are big boaters, and Lake of the Ozarks, we got into boat decking. So we CNC'd and installed marine mat boat decking over there. But within the past couple months, I've actually decided to move that equipment and buy new into my Illinois facility, because I have about 5,000 square foot open. Because of I used to DTG for a company, which is direct to garment printing. And it was contract printing. And that was about $1 million contract. And we just closed that last year. So now there's room to grow into another part of the company.
So here's what I'm taking away. Here's what I think everybody's taking away. Ashley gets after it. Like, she finds something that she's interested in, she goes and makes that happen, and then she sees how it might become something else. And maybe these businesses that you've started sort of overlap and intersect. And what we know is that you are successful at starting and building businesses, product lines, services. So that's really cool. Okay, so Ashley, in all this experience, and you shared with me before we hit record that you come from a family of entrepreneurs. So your dad's saying you're going to school, or you're starting a business. Not surprising, because he's an entrepreneur, and apparently you had at least a grandparent.
He was in trucking, so 42 years ago.
Okay, so an entrepreneur in trucking, your dad, now you. So it runs in the family. You don't have that hesitancy that a lot of people have to just like go try something, because you grew up that way. Okay, but in all your experience of growing these 7-figure businesses, and now they're multiple ones, as you think about the lessons that you've learned as you've gone from like gritty, scrappy founder, learn and do everything, to build the team and now build a business around it, what would you say are 2 or 3 key things that you've learned that might be helpful to others who are doing similar things or trying to grow their business?
Yeah, don't be a perfectionist. Because nothing will ever get done, right? So yes, I know how to do almost everything in my company, from graphic design to the financials to the printing and to the customer service, and I think what I learned is I learn how to do it best, teach someone, and then pass it on, and then I move on. So then maybe that only takes a small percentage of my time, right? So maybe I would treat customer service a little bit different, or maybe I would graphic design a little bit different. But my hope is that my staff who works for me, and after so many years, I really do feel like I have to plug them. I feel that I've really created like a really good team. Be patient, because they are out there. People are out there, and they do eventually come. And I'm all about treating staff like it's about company culture as well. If you look up our stuff, our place is immaculate. Actually, it's the Disney World of printing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I hope for each of my crew members to become better. I want them to be better in their niche than like what I am. Like, I don't want people coming to me for everything. Like, I want them to learn and be the best at their job. Like, I think it would be very full of yourself if you think you need to be number one at everything in your company, because then it's never going to work. I don't want to be number one at everything in my company. No. So
there's a little part of it.
Yeah.
Sorry. There's some of us have a little too much ego, and this is not a bad comment, but if you're listening and this applies, it's okay. Some of us have this idea that our worth is tied up in the value and what we can do, and it's hard to let go of that. And so what I hear you saying is, it's not about you, or it's not about me. We got to build the thing so that we can go do bigger and better. Like, we can go do more, or contribute in another way, or build something new, and let that team member run with that thing. We got to relinquish control.
And I think it makes them feel like it was a comment a couple months ago, and I said to one of the girls, she's like, thank you for like entrusting in me for that. Like it gives them like a better feeling, like, oh, she's giving me this opportunity to like take the lead in this. People want to be led, but they want some freedom in the leading as well, I think. So
Yeah. Well said.
yeah, not micromanaging and allowing others to like flourish in areas that maybe you were number one at one point. um
Okay. Well, you have a lot of great energy, and I'd like it. Let's do one more thing that you would share with others in your growth journey. That would be like, oh, this was a key thing that I learned that hopefully can help someone else.
Um, I guess when it comes to like the financials, this was a big thing for me. I was always like, oh, let's play around in the stock market or something, right? And I can never comprehend my dad saying, invest in yourself, invest in yourself. I'm like, what does he mean? It took all these years, right? And then eventually he's like, don't you think if you believe in yourself, you could make a better return year over year than investing in, it's not saying don't invest in those things, but investing in some random fund that some random person out here is controlling, right? So I've learned over the years, and I've done this now, and I just recently sold my house before I moved here, and I invested in the company. So, for example, our line of credit, because we have a lot of inventory in koozies, we house like 1 million koozies in 8,000 square foot of our facility. And our percentage got up to 9%. And I work with my brother on parts of my companies as well. And he's like, this is crazy. So I paid off the line, and now the company a year later will pay me back that percentage instead of paying the bank. So treat yourself, if you have that money in your savings, treat yourself like the bank, and don't not pay yourself your loan. And if you have to defer it, you will. But I think that has been like a very crucial lesson that I've learned. So now anytime I'm saving a little money or anything, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna loan the company some more. I'm gonna loan the company some more. Just be your own investor.
Yeah,
So
love that. Love
yeah.
that. Yep. Bank on yourself, bet on yourself. That's a great thing. Cool. All right. So, Ashley, while you are impressive, you've done all these cool things, doesn't mean that you're without problems, without challenges. We're all dealing with things as we try to grow our business. So, if you have one challenge that you'd like to bring to our call today that would help you grow the business or be a better leader in some way, what would that be? And then we'll get into some conversation that hopefully will be helpful to you and others.
I think it's deciding where to pivot and focus on. So, as I was saying earlier, it's like there's a million ways to make money out there. I have this quote on my wall, and there's this book by Felix Dennis, and it says, say to yourself, the world is full of money. Some of it has my name on it. All I have to do is collect it. And I love that. And it's like, okay, but now what avenue makes the most sense for my time? And then what is the most fun, right? I want to enjoy it a little bit. So it's now determining what have I learned? What are we currently doing? What do I have assets in? What are my investments in? And what company to put more focus on, or where to expand. I think that's where my biggest issue is. And then the ever changing landscape of even e-commerce right now. Like Google just hit a new algorithm AI update 2 weeks ago, I just got told. And it's, do I want to continue in the e-commerce space? Like, does that make sense? I think that's where my biggest issue is right now, is where to spend my time and money on how to move forward for like the next 10-year plan. We're about 9 years into it, and now, okay, the numbers are fine, but like this isn't the long-term goal. What's going to be the big one? I that's where I'm struggling with, I think.
Okay. All right. I love that issue. I think it's great. I think there are a lot of, um, self-proclaimed ADD, shiny object syndrome entrepreneurs out there. Like, how do I focus? So there's so many opportunities. I can't do them all. Which one should I do? All those types of things. So I think you're among friends with that kind of an issue. Um, and even if you're listening to this, you're like, no, I'm a one business woman, or I'm a one business man, or whatever. Like, I don't have those needs to go do those other things. Even within a business, there's lots of ways that you can do that business. There's lots of opportunities. There's lots of investing that you could or couldn't do. And so I think this applies to everyone. Even if you framed it up as multiple opportunities externally, there could be multiple opportunities for each individual business as well. So let's
It's
talk
even
about
with like the market like changing, like even if you were in one business, right? Like what we did 9 years ago, you can't, for the most part, not every company, But a lot of companies, you can't be doing the same thing. There wasn't TikTok 9 years ago,
Right.
right? I don't know. I don't think so. Like the landscape for marketing is changing. So it's like maybe that's how you made $1 million then, but that's probably not how you're going to make $1 million now. So it's even focusing on like, okay, what's the best, concept that I need to go with.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great issue. So let's dig into it before I share any thoughts of what I think would be helpful for you. Um, let me ask you this. I want to dig on this just a little bit more. Why why do you care? Why is this an issue? Like you've done this for 9 years, you've had success. Why does this raise to the level of, man, I really wish I could figure this out? What's behind that for you?
I may be one of those people that are just not satisfied. Uh, I just, I have, like most people, okay, my friends even like, okay, you're this far, like this is good. Isn't this good? No. I'm an extremist at everything I do in my life. It's okay. Yes, money is great and money like does help a lot and it helps fuel a lot, but like also just on a personal level, like I just like to compete with myself. And just when I put my mind to something, I want to know that I can do it. So I just have extremely large goals of creating something very big.
Mm,
And to be honest, my long term goal is I would love to get large enough to pay a very high dollar person or team to then where, because I have a Google spreadsheet of 155 companies I'd love to start, to
mm,
where then I have that team under me who can help get those things going so I'm not doing so much of the small things, right? So love to sell something off and then work on all these other companies that I dream of creating one day, but being able to afford the team that I need to help me get these rolling. If I could sit here and just be the visionary all day, that's my ideal goal. But we need finances to get there, so we got to start building something bigger.
So Ashley, time travel with me for a minute to, I don't know, 2040, let's say 16 years from now, and you you weren't able to achieve some of those ambitious, achievement-oriented types of things that are like, how does that feel if you don't do what you want to do?
How does it feel if I don't do?
Yeah, if you don't do this, if you don't
Oh, I will be
achieve,
distraught. I will be distraught. It's not going to happen. We're not even. It's not
we don't
happening.
want to go there. Okay.
No,
I,
it's not.
and I don't. I hate dragging people through the mud, but yeah. So you want this pretty badly. You can't even imagine a world where it
No.
doesn't happen, right? You're like, no, of course it's going to happen. I'm an Imagineer, right? Like I go create stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's awesome. So, um, and I was feeling that. So forgive me. I was like, Ashley wants this pretty badly. She doesn't
Yeah.
want to be disappointed at the end of her work time and say it didn't happen, or I feel like I don't know anything.
When I have those thoughts, like years down the line, if I was cool with this, like what would I think? And I think I'd be very disappointed in myself. I didn't try
Mm,
to like push as hard as I wanted to push.
yeah.
So
Okay.
that's why I moved to Austin. This is my focus, and that was another thing is moving here cranked me on another level of focus and work ethic. So
Yeah. Okay. I feel the fire. Okay. So you have this fire you want to do. So how does one, not just you, but how does anyone get focused on the right opportunity or opportunities when there's so many to choose from? How do we make sense of it all? A few principles that I would keep in mind for you. One of them is the most successful people that I know get to that level of clarity usually through some sort of personal clarity investment or personal clarity routine. And so I'm not prescribing a specific routine, but I'm just giving as examples. And you probably already do something like this, Ashley. But as an example, there's concepts like miracle morning, or the morning routine idea is not new, but the most clear, the most successful people really take advantage of some quiet time. Now, I married a not morning person. She's more of a night owl person. So, adjust to time of day that makes sense for you in your life. But you have to quiet all the outside noises so that you can get super clear. And most of the time, that clarity will fuel a lot of the decisions that that you're trying to make to begin with. Now, I'm not going to get into math on any of the opportunities, but because you're a savvy businesswoman, that not all opportunities are equal when it comes to the financial return or at least the opportunity. So I would do the math across those things and see what excites you more. But then I'm going to point you right back to, I guess, what I'll call an internal compass, or your passion, your excitement, because you started out saying, I'm a 7 days a week kind of person. Like, it's not work to me. Like, I'm just using my life's energy to do these things because I'm so passionate about it. Well, there are going to be some opportunities that for you fill the passion bucket more than others. And so it's going to be some combination of clear vision about what I want in my personal life in the future, right? We're going to kind of triangulate on this. Think about a GPS system, right? They get
Yeah.
multiple points. They get to the exact point because they have multiple reference points. So you're going to triangulate and you're going to go, what do I want for me and my life in the future, right? We spent a little bit of time imagining around that a little bit. You're going to think about the financial opportunity from any of these things that come up. And you're going to think about how much it fills your personal passion, right? Like the things that are most exciting to you. Those would be a good starting point for anybody trying to wrestle with those types of decisions. For anybody who's like, but in my own company, within my own business, how do I make prioritization decisions? I would advocate that you spend a little bit more time looking up and out if you're not clear about how to prioritize investment decisions internally. And I would also look around to the people that I have and where together we're most likely to go be successful. If, for example, you're doing all these cool printing things, Ashley, and somebody comes along with a home services company. I'll try to just pick something that's completely different. You might love that, but it may have zero connection to your core competencies in the other businesses that you've built. And it might be a little harder road for you to go down that path. And so I'm not saying you would do this, but if you are inclined personally to go towards something that's completely different or new, just make sure that you get clear that it's not going to be as easy as some of these other things where you just kind of took a step or two to the side instead of like 180 degrees in a different direction. So I talked a lot. Let me just pause there, Ashley, and see, was there anything helpful in there, and or do you want to take me down a specific path to go?
So I'm already doing that. So actually, a year ago, I got involved. My dad got involved with his insurance guys on starting this wellness company. And I was just going to get slightly involved for the marketing, right? But I can't help myself, and I go way too like far into things, right? So I get the logos trademark, I create the name, I do all this stuff, and as of a month ago, actually, this is the big picture thing now. Because side note, I'm also the CMO of a staffing company for half of my week. So that's a larger 8-figure company. And so anyway, the wellness company it's called RexCare, and you can actually go sign up early online right now. It'll be for individuals and for businesses. But to me, okay, wellness. I haven't ran a wellness company. Wellness meaning it's teledoc, directs, text coach, and a CMP panel. But what I am good at is creative. I'm good at marketing. And actually, for fun, years ago, I got a nutrition certification because I just love health and fitness. So to me, it's not exactly like what the company is, even though I love the message, like in the push on this. It's just creating something from scratch and creating something big. But what I'm learning is now it's all making sense. Everything I've learned over the 9 years, how to print things, how to design things, how to staff people, how to create e-commerce sites, how to do webhooks, APIs, hire the people I need. Like, I can set up a company in a weekend. I got to do this list on Google. I got to do this list. I got to build this website, blah, blah, blah. So that, I think it's all like, that's where some of the clarity it's all been in the past few months is coming finally to like, okay, this makes sense why I'm doing all these things. And maybe not put so much effort into building those much larger, but they're there to fuel the other company, right? Because now we get this stuff for a quarter of the price versus paying out someone else. So yeah, not to, throw it another whole direction, but
No.
that is where I see most of my time being spent. Probably a year from now is the launch of this wellness company. So
Well, you're super interesting. There's all these things you want to be a part of. What's coming clearer for me is that you get a lot of excitement and energy around the startup thing. Not that you can't scale things, but like you said before, maybe the key for you is to build a really good, let's call it an execution team, for lack of a better term, operations team, and you go send, you bring some resources and some clarity and some of your unique abilities, and you start something, and then you have them go build it up and hire the team, and get the processes in place, and then you put that under somebody else's care, and you just become an investment portfolio of all these startups that you had a fun time building up.
yeah, that's the long-term goal, right? But it still comes down to the issue we all have is hiring the right people. And I think that will always continue to be like the struggle of how do you find these people, no matter like what level you're at. Um,
Yeah, so I think that's a great issue that a lot of people wrestle with. Let's finish on that topic. So I know you listened to some of our previous episodes. There's a concept that I like to talk about that I want for every business out there, for every business. And we call it a talent tractor beam. You imagine, the Batman signal, the bat signal going out. There's a specific call for a specific individual, right? It's like, there's the signal. Everybody knows that's for that person. Well, you have to create such a clear signal that when you send it out, the right people are attracted to it. So just like you've learned in your marketing efforts to speak to that target client or that target customer, it's like you've learned how to write love letter copy to the right people, right? You got to do that on the employment side for the right people, and it needs to exude all of this. Like, here's what our purpose is. Here's what we value. Here's what's unique about us, and all of that language will start to create a very clear bad signal, if you will, for the right people. And the stronger that talent tractor becomes, the easier it's going to be for people to notice it and go, oh, that's one of Ashley's companies. I know that I belong in that circle, right? Like, I
yeah.
go find out what's going on over there. So I think I think what you're doing is on track, but I just want to underscore that the clearer you get about the purpose of each one of these businesses and the values that you have, whether those are shared values across the family of companies or a set of values that are unique to each company, I don't know. But if you're trying to attract talent, you need to give them a reason to say, I share that identity. That because they want to come be part of something that makes sense to them and that they're excited about.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are some thoughts about creating a talent tractor beam for each of your brands, or
No,
maybe.
I appreciate that because I think that will always it's always top of mind, where is the next gold star gonna like show up? But yeah, you have to put it out there correctly. So
Yeah, yeah, and we've all heard always, the ABC, I think, is a selling term. Always be closing or always be selling. I think that that's true for what I would call earlier stage businesses, especially in that 1 to 300,000 range, or 300,000 to a million. It's like always be selling, always be closing, all that kind of stuff. But as you get to seven figures and beyond, I think the focus needs to be more on always be recruiting,
yeah,
always like
yes,
building that company through the right people. If you have something that works in the market, right? Like if your product or service fits and there's a need and all that stuff, if you can be profitable, I'm not downplaying any of that. But if you have the core business figured out, then it is about the team. It's about the people and how quickly can I build that?
yeah. I 100% like have experienced that the right people coming on in certain positions in the company do change the company and they're worth. I mean, at some point I was like, I will cut and I've never paid myself highly because I keep reinvesting it into the businesses for long term growth. But I'm like, I will cut my own pay just to get this person that I need because I know that the ROI makes sense, and then it eventually all come back, right?
Yeah,
Um,
you're
so
investing in yourself again. Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome. Well, Ashley, I've enjoyed this conversation. I love the issues that you brought, the lessons that you shared. If people want to learn more about what you're doing with Visionary Vessel or any of your companies or connect with you online, how would they do that?
You could go to my current website is called Ecom Vessel because I just rebranded, but it's ECOMVESSEL.com. And all of the companies are on there. My email's on there. My socials on there. My Instagram is at crazy with two E's, CRAZEE underscore Ash. That's because our company at home is called Crazy Town USA. We have a giant light up sign and everything.
Nice.
So, and then you can shoot me an email at Ashley, ASHLEYK, at ecom, ECOM, vessel, VESSEL.com. And I love, like, that's why I moved to Austin, is because it's the entrepreneurial capital of the country. And I have met so many amazing people. I'm actually going to an event tonight, like a small hosted entrepreneurial gathering, and I'm excited. Like, that's why I'm here. So I love if people reach out, and I love learning from other people because I do not know even close to everything. So I love to surround myself with people that know even more than I do.
Well, yeah, you're a good example of that. Thank you again for being on our show, Ashley. It was very helpful.
Well, thank you for having me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So
All right, everybody who's listening, please share, review, like, do all those things to help as many seven-figure business owners benefit from this time that Ashley shared with us. She shared some great nuggets and brought a great issue or a couple issues that we could just riff on for a little bit. Hopefully that was helpful to some of you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Seven Figure Journey podcast.
thank you.